Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I'll pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. Woo!
It's showtime, folks!
And now here's Ollie Williams with the Blackie weather forecast. Ollie?
It's gonna rain!
Thanks, Ollie. Let's go live to Ollie Williams with the Blackie weather report. Ollie?
It's raining sideways!
Sounds rough, Ollie. Do you have an umbrella?
Had one!
Where is it?
Inside out, 2 miles away!
Is there anything we can do for you?
Bring me some soup!
What kind?
Chunky!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Built-in Buffalo Network. I'm your host, Tommy. And next to me is my co-host, Mr. King Aramis. That's the weather report here in Buffalo for the game. Is that accurate, Aramis?
That's exactly what's going on outside right now, Tommy. I have no idea what has happened to the roof of my house, but we're making things work here in Buffalo with all this rain.
Okay. So here's an actual live looking. Shout out to Buffalo Stadium Live. So that's actually right outside right now live. So a pretty cool look at Bill's Mafia walking in that rain, getting ready, tailgating. Game starts soon. So shout out to everyone there at the game representing Bill's Mafia to the fullest. So here's some inactives. Spin always coming through. Look, I don't even need to look it up when Spin's here. So here's the inactives. Curtis Samuel, DeMar Hamlin, again, Kyrie Elam. What do you know? Kyrie Elam, inactive. Nick Morrow, Tyler Grable, Austin Johnson, and Lewis Sign, who they brung up from the practice squad, but they decided to make inactive. So anybody on that list surprise you? I'll pop it back up there for you.
Yeah, I didn't know they called Nick Morrow up, but I imagine that's because of injuries. The Curtis Samuel kind of is surprising, but I mean, he's been dealing with turf toe and ankle issues all season.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right, give the man some rest. Let him get ready for the playoffs. That's cool.
Yep. Let's get to some of your chat real quick. Jay Osgood, the way the season played out, took the MVP from Josh, which was looking like a lock. Yeah, I don't know. I still think he deserves it, but we'll see today. I think he can cement it today, to be honest with you, if he has a good game, to seal the deal as a number 2 spot. But we'll see. Shout out to Built in Buffalo, by the way. We are on their network pregame, so go ahead and go over there, subscribe to their Facebook as well as their X account and their YouTube channel as well. Nancy says, go Bills. Damn right, go Bills. What's going on, Nancy?
What's up, Nancy?
Well, look at this. We've got somebody from Poland. Hello, I'm from Poland, and I watch on TV game today. Go Bills. Man, good for you. I actually picked up a guy from the UK the other day. I was like, damn, they're pretty cool. Mike, we're going to see Micah today? Absolutely no. We are not. Absolutely not. He is not. You know what? It's really odd. I'm glad you brought that up. King Aramis, it seems like they just brought back Micah Hyde to be a sideline coach. I mean, it seems like a mentor, or whatever that you want to call him. I don't think he sees time at all. I don't think he ever plays this year. Even if look, and my co-host keeps saying this, and it may be true. In case of emergency break glass type of whatever signing for bringing back Micah Hyde, I don't even know if that's the case because look, if he doesn't get any time from today, and obviously he's not, or the next game, week 18 against New England, then how would the coach know he would be ready at all? Anyways, if you haven't even seen him, like at least get his feet wet a little bit. You know what I mean? Like week 18, what would be the harm? I'm just saying, what would be the harm of having him out there for a couple series? Just to have him out there and go, okay, you know what? Yeah, he still had. I know I know for sure if I need him, like he was looking good out there because it's different. Practice to NFL, like in the NFL, like you're playing on game day is totally different than practice. So, what's your thoughts on that?
So this is typical with older players that are at this point in their careers. I think with Micah Hyde, the harm is quality of life. One hit for this guy, and he may not be able to walk the same the rest of his life. And we're talking about very serious
Right.
back injuries. So I don't think something like that gets put at risk unless it's a Super Bowl game and all of their safeties are injured. Then that's a much different conversation that we're having. But this
Right.
being a regular season game, not something that we're gonna, need per se. But I think with where he is in his career, it makes more sense that he's one of these older players that goes back to where he kind of came up with the coaching staff. Coaching staff is familiar with him. He gets a chance to dip his toe in the coaching pool while being a part of the team and not actually employed as a coach. We've seen other players in the NFL do this with other teams. They go back to coaches they're familiar with, and they take on these kind of roles where they're coaching, but from inside the classroom. And then the following year or maybe 2 years after, they take on a coaching position. That's how Gerard Mayo got started, honestly. So
yeah.
I don't.
We'll see. We'll see. Presmo, we usually get to the score predictions at the end of the show, but I'll tell you because I don't know. Maybe you have to get out of here or whatever, but I'm going to tell you right now. I'll just get it over with, and I'll say it again later for the people that are hopping on late. I'm going to go with 30-17 today. What's your score prediction today? Even though I'm being generous after what I saw last week. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think these two teams don't like each other, and I think this is going to be a very tight game. It typically is with the Jets, so I'm probably going to say 2017.
Oh, golly, terrible. Compared to what you said last week, 3 points for the Patriots. Right. And I'm being nice in there. I'm like,
well, we got to get to that too, because I have a theory on that.
We will. Red, White, and Bills, what's up? Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. He does pretty cool offensive line film study. If you like that stuff, it's pretty cool. Go over there. Robert, what is up, Robert? So speaking of last week, so I went, man, dude, I was not a happy camper in that game, watching that game. Post game, I was like, what the fuck did I just get done watching? Boring, vanilla, preseason almost type football I was watching out there. We did just enough to get the win, which was, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But I was on post game. I was like, man, that was fucking disgusting. I was like, I was not happy at all with the offense, especially the offense. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? But during the podcast, I did mention to my co-host, I'm like, you know what, man? Is it possible that what we saw out there, what was basically like Joe Brady throwing out a vanilla type playbook so he doesn't show his cards? He doesn't want to, because the postseason's right around the corner, right? The playoffs are 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away. He's like, oh, I doubt they would do that. Which, right, you would think, right? Because at the time, we're still fighting for the one spot. But then I get off and I watch all the, players' interviews, coaches, whatever. And Josh Allen, I guess he was asked about it, and he's pretty much said what I said, that they went out there and they don't want to show their pretty much their playbook, and they were pretty much playing a vanilla type offense. So if you go back and watch that game, you could tell the players they were ready to get out of there as soon as the game started. You could tell they weren't having fun. It was just, let's just get the dub. It's cold as fuck. We know this isn't our playbook. Like, it just seemed that way. So I'll be honest with you. It made me feel a little bit better the following day after hearing that comment that night, because I was like, okay, at least I know, like, they didn't revert back to just being stuck in the mud offense. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how I saw it. How did you see it? On the offensive side. We'll go to the defense side in a minute.
Yeah, offensively, it bothered me because even if that's the thought process, like let's say, okay, fine, that's not what Josh was told to say, in the press conference to kind of cover for what happened, right? and I'm just kind of playing around with that conspiracy theory. I don't actually think that was the case. But if we're talking about a team that traditionally goes up in front of the camera and the microphone and says, we're focused on this week's game, this team, this week. We don't look further ahead. We don't think about an upcoming matchup. We don't think about anything other than what we got coming in this week. Well, they basically just told everybody they actually don't do that every week. Because
right.
if that's the case, then you're not concerned about what you're putting on tape. You're more concerned about, we have to get this done. See, here's the other part about this too. Here's the other part about this. If this was a team concerned about getting to where the Chiefs are in terms of the favor and the penalty calls and everything that the NFL has put in place for the Chiefs to succeed, right? And I really mean that, because we, as Bills fans, we saw that happen with the Patriots. We saw them get calls they shouldn't get. We saw them, get favor they shouldn't get in terms of, schedule and all that kind of stuff. So these are the things that have to do with the politics of the game. And if Sean McDermott doesn't understand all of that and how that plays into Josh Allen and his performance, even 7 years in, there's some issue that I take with that, because you're not really paying attention to how the NFL works. You're more focused on what you're doing in house. And when you take into consideration, Josh Allen could have all of the same accolades and numbers and everything that Mahomes has or Lamar Jackson has. If this team tried to put him on that level, if this coach tried to put him on that level, we'd be talking about a much different storyline over the last 7 years. But instead, it's been about culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I get where you're going. Yep. 7
years in, it's like, okay, well, what does culture really want you? So when I look at this game, that picture is what plays in my mind. It's like, oh, all right, fine. You don't want to put certain things on tape. You can still put some things into the game plan that blows this team out the way you should.
Right. What about the earlier stuff in the year? It's already on tape.
Exactly.
What are we doing here?
Do none of that. Like none of that. No, you like barely did any motion. None of that stuff, man.
Nothing, dude. We barely ran the ball when we ran the ball effectively, which is weird. We didn't throw the running backs at all.
Yep.
Like pretty much at all. Callie Blitz saying 17-14. What up, Callie? What up, Scott? You know what's funny last night? Because Scott's saying this is. I'm glad he brung this up. He says, "Question: What possibly does Brady have in the bag so unique that would need hiding until the playoffs? Not sure I am buying." So I texted, because I was just fucking around last night with Mikey through text. I'm like, what if Joe Brady has this fucking unbelievable playbook that he has hidden, and he breaks it out in the playoffs, and it's Gregory Rousseau at the tight end position, and we're playing all three running backs in the backfield behind Josh Allen, or two tight ends, one running back in the backfield, and we're having Jordan Phillips line up as fullback. Like, it's just some crazy innovative offense that we've never seen before. Joe Brady's like just fucking waiting for it.
Yeah,
it's like, we're just we're scoring 70 points a game all the way to the Super Bowl. He's like, yeah, that would be unbelievable. So, can you imagine? Right? Whoa, my God, Jordan Phillips in the fullback position.
Right. I mean, listen, I if somebody told me that I could pay a sum of money right now that was more than what I had to get that, I'd still try and give it. Because that would change the entire perception on our team. But listen, this is a game we're supposed to win today, and I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous about it because if we have a head coach that goes into last week and is more concerned with not putting things on tape than he is winning the game and trying to go for the number one seed. And even going into this game, now we have to worry about losing the number 2 seed to the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? So if we lose this game and we lose next week, and let's be honest, if we get to next week and we have to win that game, is our head coach going to be more concerned about resting the starters for injuries going into the playoffs? Or is he trying to win?
You better win today.
Well, right.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. So that's
big
what
problem next weekend.
Right. That's what makes this game in some ways, a must win, because
I agree.
you have to play against the Patriots. They've shown, listen, even though this was a vanilla offensive showing and all that kind of stuff, this is still a team that can run the ball on you.
Yeah, in New England, and it's probably going to be like shit weather, all right, because they're outdoors too, and you have a risk, and they're going to be playing to spoilers, right? They're going to want to, get that last win, that it means something to them, fuck up Buffalo, division game. Like it is true. Jets are the same thing today. What do they got to lose? I mean, that's what I'm looking at games last night, like Arizona. They're already out of the playoffs, but they gave the Rams a dogfight at the end, because what do they got to lose, right? They have nothing to lose right now. So they're going to pull all the cards. By the way, the Rams, right, who scored, 44 against us, are dog shit after playing us, of course. Can they barely put up touchdowns against us? No problem scoring 4. It's crazy. And Mike, I'm like, bro, it's just, if it happens to Buffalo. I have no idea why. But if something's bad's going to happen, it's going to happen to the Bills. Yeah. It's just the way it is. I don't get it, but it's how it works, man. We allowed Skylar Thompson to almost beat us in the playoffs one year. I mean, I can't. And he's not even playing football anymore. We got waived. So I don't know. Like I said, if it happens to us. Like we just have the worst luck sometimes. And I shouldn't say that because I don't believe in luck. How do you feel about the Chiefs' first seed? Bills fan, says Jacob. I think they earned it. I think they found ways to win, and that's what great teams do. Buffalo Snowy. Oh, here's my buddy from the UK. Remember I was telling you about him. So he's a new subscriber to the channel. Scott, is it a 50-0 win? I highly doubt it. We're going to give up points like we normally do in this defense. Speaking of the defense, we are 22nd ranked. Ugh, disgusting. For a coach that's a defensive minded head coach. Listen, man, I'm not going to go on this fucking Sean McDermott rant. We've already done that for most of the season. I'm going to try to stay positive, but Aramis, I got to be honest with you. I've never been crazy about Sean McDermott as a defensive, genius, whatever they call him. I never been crazy about a scheme ever. Yeah. I don't think he's a bad defensive head coach. I don't think our defense has ever been terrible with him, but I've never been wow, this defense is fucking unbelievable. Thank God we got this defensive mastermind head coach. He's just, I would say, good, I guess. Yeah. I mean, sometimes underperforming. Put it this way: if we had an offensive-minded head coach, and let's be real here, guys, and we're year 8 in, and we're ranked 22nd in offense, and we're just okay throughout 8 years, you would eventually go, wow, man, offensive head coach, why is our defense outperforming our offense? You would say the opposite. Of course you would. Right. So that's what I'm saying. I don't for a defensive head coach, I expect our defense to be top 5 pretty much every fucking year. Pretty much, unless there's crazy amount of injuries every year. What do you feel about how do you feel about McDermott's scheme as far as a defensive head coach goes?
I have a theory. I think any defensive coordinator or any defensive head coach that has a defense that gives up a lot of yards and at times can give up a lot of points, they're going to categorize their defense as bend but don't break.
Ugh, hate that term.
And to me, that just means, look, we're not good enough to actually stop teams until they get to a point of the field where there's just not enough space for them to exploit.
Which isn't every team.
Right. Every team. Listen, very few teams play better in the red zone.
Right. Usually the red zone is where things get tight, for every team.
Exactly. So this idea of, the success of our defense is bend but don't break, and we allow teams to beat themselves by having to go, anywhere from 11 to 17 plays in a series just to get us, get in field goal range or just to score a touchdown or something like that. It's complete BS to me. It is. And the idea that see, this is the way that I think about building a team in general. You go into an offseason and you get as much talent as you can possibly compile, and then you figure out what they all do best and you build something around that. And I think what Joe Brady has done, and part of the reason he's had the success that he's had, is he had the opportunity to look at what he had and say, okay, these are the things that we can do successfully with the players that we have.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly.
Right.
And
yeah.
When you look at what this defense has forced players to do, it's forced safeties to come in and play a much tougher position for their body and their build and their speed and their strength. And it's forced corners that should be safeties to go out and play corner and be able to play man coverage and be able to, to guard a speedy receiver in a 7-yard radius with super tight coverage. These are guys that are their play style, their physical makeup. They're not designed to play in these types of situations. But because you're trying to build within a scheme and you're trying to make players fit within a scheme, as we've seen, the draft picks don't work. The some of the signings don't actually pan out the way that we hope they would. And what's funny about that is you actually have more success with free agents than you do draft picks.
Well, look at Poona Ford, who did not fit the scheme. I guess didn't fit the scheme because he never got to play, right? Pretty much.
Well,
it goes to the Chargers. He's one of the best DTs in the league.
That's it.
It's the scheme, I believe, bro. I really do truly believe that. For the most part. Now, I'm not saying every player, players aren't to blame, but I mean, the proof is there, guys. Look at some of the players that left and become that are actually playing a pretty damn good. Even what's his name for the Texans? I forget his name. Tim Settle is actually having a much better season.
He got
with
5 sacks this season.
Yeah. He's more sacks than our whole defensive line. Like, what the fuck,
except Greg Rousseau. He's got.
Well, I'm sorry. No, I mean our defensive tackles combined.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah. So I mean that's wild to me.
We have a defensive tackle tied for the lead in interceptions.
Right. Yeah, Austin Johnson. Yeah, what the hell is going on here?
He's got 2 interceptions, dude.
Yeah,
incredible.
Dan McDermott is stubborn. McDermott is stubborn as hell. He's getting better. I like him. We'll see what happens. Now, there was a question up here from Jacob. Says, do you think Josh Allen is not a Super Bowl contender this year, but next year? I think he's just listen. My honest opinion about Josh Allen, like he's always a Super Bowl contender. And I like maybe I'm being biased, but as long as you have Josh Allen under center, you're going to get in the playoffs. Pretty much no matter what. And you never know what happens in the playoffs. Like teams get hot. Look at the Giants. I mean, there's teams that barely snuck in and got to the Super Bowl. So you can get hot at the right time. Things can go the right way. And if you have a guy like him and he just gets on this, like in this zone, absolutely. So I think every year, if we make the playoffs with Josh Allen, yeah, I believe he can make the Super Bowl just because he's that special. But I will say this. I know all y'all, because I have that bet with all y'all that if McDermott wins the Super Bowl, I will put I love McDermott tattoo. No problem. Of course. It's a win for me. What do I care? Right. But if we win a Super Bowl, it's not going to be because of Sean McDermott. It's going to be because Josh Allen and this offense absolutely went ham in the playoffs because that's what's going to have to happen. Like they're going to have to play perfect football. When we get in the playoffs this year, I'm telling you guys, there's no way in hell. Like, I cannot see a game where if the offense comes out flat, the defense, like, I got you. I got your back, dog. Like, that's not going to happen. This is what's going to play out. This is how I could see it. The only way I could see this happen is if the defense at least gives us that little cushion from the start, like they did the Lions game, where we get a couple 3 outs early and the offense just starts out hot out the gate. We take an early lead. And then we play this back and forth football game and we win in a shootout. And the reason why we win is because we have the early lead. Because if you look at the Rams game, it was a shootout, but we didn't have the lead early. And it's very tough to come back in those kind of games in a shootout when your defense is continuing to give up points. So I don't see the defense just all of a sudden in the playoffs is like clicking and just like shutting down teams where, it's picking up the offense if the offense comes out flat. So that's why I'm really hoping to God that Joe Brady really, really does have maybe more into the playbook that he's, that he's gearing up for. He's getting ready to use in the playoffs. That's going to get this offense like really humming, rolling. You know what I mean? Where it's tough to stop. So because I truly believe that's the path to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. It's not. Listen, the defense is not going to do it for us. It's just not. What's your thoughts of that?
The only issue I have with the idea that Josh makes us a contender every year is that every other team around us is going to be getting better or working towards getting better every year. You know what I mean? At some point, it has to become, less about Josh makes us a contender every year and more about we've got to capitalize on the opportunity we have right now. And we also have to be smart enough to understand that Von Miller is not a way to capitalize on winning right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So those are the things that limit the Bills' ability to really hit that next level, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at the league right now, the Chiefs took a step back this season. They really took a step back 2 seasons ago and gave the Bills an opportunity to overtake them. The Bills took a step back themselves and weren't able to do that because they were reliant heavily on an offensive coordinator that had never been an offensive coordinator before, chosen by a head coach who had never been a good head coach before. And for me, I think when you look at where the Bills are in the AFC, they're top 3 right now, but team-wise, the whole team, like the entire team, we're at a talent deficit compared to these other 2 teams. The Ravens talent-wise trump us. The Chiefs, regardless of what people want to say about the draft positions of all their players, the way that they're used, they fit perfectly with their athleticism and what they're asked to do. So that puts them at a talent benefit over the Bills, right? And looking at all of that, I say to myself, how are we ever going to get ahead of these teams if we always have the mindset of let's just be competitive every year, right? And the reason I can say that the Bills' mindset is let's just be competitive every year is when Sean first got the job and when Pagula was talking about the expectation, it was we want to be competitive every year. It wasn't we want to win a Super Bowl, we want to bring a Super Bowl here. That came after the conversation about we want to be competitive every year. If you look at the moves that the Buffalo Bills have made year in and year out, it's to be competitive. We know we have a good quarterback. We know we have good pieces. Let's just do what we can to make sure that we make the playoffs and then roll the dice from there. That's not a winning philosophy. It's not a championship mindset. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Yeah.
I think that's the part that really gets on my, and not saying I'm like annoyed by anybody here, but like, I hear that a lot. And I really want to make sure we truly understand where that thought process leads us to, because it's getting us exactly what we're getting right now. And I want anybody in the chat or anybody watching right now to really tell me in their deepest of thoughts right now, do you think this team is not still vulnerable to a divisional round exit? I don't know if anybody. I can't say that.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Sander King, I'm proud of where we are because this was supposed to be a reset year. The window is closed. They put drywall on it. Well, guess what? We broke through it and never looked back. It's no doubt that Diggs helped the offense back, and we're responsible for let's go Buffalo. So here's my thoughts on that. And I never thought. Listen, I get that people were saying that. Even my co-host said it. I didn't think this was a reset year. I was very confident. If you go back and look at anything I did in the offseason talking about this upcoming season, I was very confident that we were going to win the division. And obviously make the playoffs. We won the division. So I didn't think the Dolphins and Jets were going to be better than us. I just felt like they had way more to prove than us. We've already been there, done that. I also knew that no matter what, when you have Josh Allen, like I said before, you're going to get in the play. I don't care. Like that's what I keep telling you guys. Like you guys are so scared about getting rid of McDermott. You could bring another coach in here. I promise you, he will at least get this team to the playoffs. And really, that's what Sean McDermott has done. If Sean McDermott even got us to a Super Bowl once so far, I would be like, okay, all right, you know what? He got us there. I get why you're holding out hope. I understand that. Like, he was so close at one time, but he only won AFC championship. So, but anyways, going back to the reset thing, I listen, and going back to Diggs too. I don't think, listen, Diggs was really, really special here for a while. You can't knock what Diggs did here. The stats he put up, he helped Josh Allen for the, really, like, honestly grow as a quarterback. And they had great time for I would say 2.5 years. And then the relationship started, and I don't even know so much was Diggs and Allen relationship. It was more about Diggs and the coach and the coaching staff, whatever happened there. And it was time to go. But I didn't think Diggs leaving was going to like break this team or anything. I understood the philosophy that Joe Brady was, working up in the offseason where everybody eats. I understand that mentality. But I also was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie about, this group of receivers, we have a rookie that's unproven. Khalil Shakir, I was happy. Like, I was excited for because I thought he was coming on strong, but I needed to see it, right? Because we all were excited also about Gabe Davis following the 13-second game. We were like, oh, Gabe Davis, that coming up here is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver, and he never really panned out. So it could have happened to Shakir too, right? But it didn't. Shakir's actually, playing at a high level. But we had some guys that I was like, we'll see. And really, truthfully, the offense kind of sputtered until we got Amari Cooper. I do believe you still got to have a true alpha type of receiver. Yeah. I'm not saying Amari's our best receiver, but I think defensive coordinators and defenses respect him more than anybody else on our receiving corps. And I don't even know if he's our best receiver. I'm just throwing that out there, if that makes any sense, because he's been there, done that. Defenses know him. You know what I mean? So we needed that. We needed that little bit of help there. And you could see the offense drastically improve. And guys got like Keon Coleman. I mean, look, he had his best games since Amari Cooper has arrived, right? So I never thought it was a reset year. I was very confident in the Bills making the playoffs. It was the outside national media and a lot of people buying into what was being said. And if you go on the flip side, the defensive side, the players we lost, a lot of them were banged up. They barely saw the field anyways. Jordan Poyer was on and off the field throughout the last 2 years he was here. Micah Hyde, same story with him. He was banged up with a neck injury. So really, we were losing guys that weren't really playing much. So I didn't even buy into that we were losing captains. Okay, but what were they really doing out there? They were barely out there. So I was confident enough this team could make the playoffs. My thing, and it's always been, is when we get to the playoffs, where do we go from there? And we usually hit a wall, right? And we hit that wall in the divisional round. We've hit it a lot every year. We've only been to one AFC championship in 2020. Ever since then, divisional, hitting wall. And we just can't figure it out. And I know I can figure it out. I can tell you, and I've been telling you, because McDermott can't figure it out. Whatever's going on there, he can't figure it out. So I've already come to the conclusion, and I've already stopped the McDermott talk because I can't keep doing it. And people are like, oh, quit it already. Listen, we can't. McDermott's not going anywhere. He is not going anywhere. So the only way we win is through the offense and through Josh Allen.
Right.
And somebody made a great point on my podcast a couple weeks ago. It wasn't even mine. It was actually somebody that's on my channel. He had a guest on. He's like, bro, players come when players sign to the Buffalo Bills. You know what they say? They never say, man, I signed to play with Sean McDermott, that coach. They say they came to play with Josh Allen. Even defensive players like Von Miller, you didn't hear him go, bro, I'm excited to play with Sean McDermott. That defense, I cannot wait to get going. He said, I came here to play with Josh Allen. That's what's exciting to come to play with Buffalo. Not because of our head coach, not because of the defense. He's a defensive mastermind. Look at players that go for KC. Yeah, they're going to say Mahomes. They're also going to bring up Andy Reid. They're going to bring up their defense coordinator. I can't wait to get in that defensive scheme. It's exciting. No, bro. So that's my point when it comes to whose team is this, guys? Come on. It's It's Josh Allen's team. It's Josh Allen's team. So who's going to win a Super Bowl? It ain't going to be Sean McDermott. It's going to be because of Josh Allen if we get to the Super Bowl and we win a Super Bowl. That's my opinion. Aramis?
I think so. We kind of went over this last night, right? The idea of who are you going to bring in if you get rid of Sean, or this idea that there's nobody that could come in and do the job that Sean did. Let me remind everybody really quick. The Chargers last year were what? Absolute trash.
Not good. Right. And by the way, real quick before I cut you off, that's not true. There's been many players that say they're excited to play for this coach. I've heard it many, many times. Harbaugh, to his point, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick. Who else? There's been a ton. The other John Harbaugh. A lot, dude. A lot. So Coach Gruden, John Gruden. Bro, I could go on and on about certain coaches that are admired. Sean Payton. Yeah. So that's not true at all. And I'm telling you, name one player I can't recall, that said, man, I can't wait to go play for Sean McDermott in that defense. Like, no, stop it, guys. Right. Now you're go ahead. Sorry, Ariel.
No, you're good. So I'm simply trying to make the point that there are head coaches, whether it's their first time or whether they've done it before, that can come in and change a team's success rate or change a team's path immediately, right? Jim Harbaugh came in and did that for the Chargers this year. He went to Michigan in college, and immediately the first year they had success. Same thing happened when Jim Harbaugh was in San Francisco. So that's a guy who was out there. And when everybody was looking at this team 2 years ago and had Sean McDermott on the hot seat for the divisional round exit and the way they lost to the Bengals the year before and all this other stuff, that was a guy that was out there in college that could have come back and come to a place like Buffalo where he fits the mindset, but also has the knowledge and the know-how to build strong physical teams that can also play good offense and can also be great and strong and physical on defense. He's doing that, and we're seeing it now with the Chargers. They're in the playoffs. They clinched a playoff spot in year one. Right. Okay, right. Now let's be real about what Sean McDermott did. Sean McDermott didn't do what Jim Harbaugh did. Sean McDermott got help from the Bengals to clinch a playoff spot. Sean McDermott was in the position that the Bengals are in right now, hoping that a couple of teams lose so that we can get in past them. He's not Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh clinched with a week left. You know what I'm saying? So Sean McVay, we went through the whole list of Sean McVay. Sean McVay, his first season was 11-5. Season 2, he was 13-3, went to the NFC Championship game. So, like, really, we gotta, if you only pay attention to the Bills and you don't actually take a look around the NFL and see what other teams are doing, you're going to miss some of this stuff. And I'm not saying people aren't looking around. I don't think that at times we're being objective with our train of thought.
I get it. And listen, and this is not a kill Sean McDermott thing or like bash him, but I will say this. I think Sean McDermott is a good head coach. There's a lot of terrible head coaches around the NFL as well. So look around. There's coaches getting fired left and right. However, he definitely benefits from having a superstar like Josh Allen on the team because his defense, like I said, once again, where he's supposed to, that's his bread and butter, has not really been too good. It's been okay. Jacob, what team do Bills fans hate? I hate the Dolphins because I grew up in South Florida, and they were like when I first started watching the Buffalo Bills in '89 through the like early '90s to late '90s, whatever, the whole '90s. We had a big rivalry between Bills and Dolphins. Like, we hated each other. They hated us. We hated them. It was real, like as real as you can get. And yeah, that's my team. Who's your most hated team? I'm sure everybody has their own.
It was the Patriots, but then, after I'd say like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I started to realize, there's a big difference in the way, a lot of these other two teams, built their teams and hired people and put coaches in place, than what the Patriots were doing at the time. What they were doing worked for them, and they mastered their skill set and they were able to win with it. Now,
Right.
for me, I think I hate the Chiefs more, not because they stand in our way, but because I know that there's nothing that my team is willing to do to imitate or mimic what they do to be as successful as they are, even though I believe my quarterback is better than theirs. That's why I hate the Chiefs more. I'm watching them do all of this stuff, knowing I have a much better quarterback and knowing that my guy deserves it much more than their guy deserves it because he's had so much help since he's gotten into his position. And now I just have to watch this dude live it up and get all these awards and get the Super Bowls and all this stuff. And my guy's got to friggin' trudge through, 7 feet of snow, metaphorically, just to get to, to the AFC Championship game.
Scott with some breaking news. Tommy is a moron.
How did he know that?
That is a lie.
That's a lie, Scott. That's a lie. That's a lie. Don't come with those lies on this channel. All right? Get out of here. Those damn lies. You know what? I'm not gonna even kick you out, even if you call me a moron. Sticks and stones, all right. Chris, defense won't show up come playoff time. But clearly, I don't know. Whatever. I'm a McDummy over here. I heard Aramis carries a picture of McDermott in his wallet. I wonder if that's true.
Roy, I told you that in confidence. Damn it, Roy.
Right, that's not breaking news. That's Spin already. Yeah, see, you're right. That's true. Spin. What am I talking about? That's true. That is true. But he says I'm kidding or whatever. Josh Allen winning 65%. Okay, so let's move on from McDermott slander. Listen, McDermott's the best head coach ever. He's going to win a championship here. We love him. We just been trolling you guys the whole time. Aramis actually does have a picture of Sean McDermott in his wallet, and
I kiss it every night before bed. It's on my nightstand too.
Yeah, I have a poster incoming. I'm going to put behind me of Sean McDermott clapping. It's coming. It's I had to order it. So we just been trolling you guys the whole time. We think his defense is excellent, and that's the reason why we're going to win the Super Bowl. All right, so let's move on. Yeah, Robert, if me and McDermott don't change your defensive line philosophies, get bigger, tougher, and athletic, the Bills will stay the same. McDermott lacks foresight to grasp the players that fit his game. See, listen, we try to move on. You guys, you're bringing me back in. Okay, what can I do? Every single wild card team at some point over 17, you got help. Not necessarily. McDermott is the reason Allen doesn't have 2 Super Bowls already. I don't know. Like, that's kind of unfair. I'm not going to say that necessarily because I will say this. Like, during the Patriots run, there is certain teams that, man, like, no matter how, like, if you go back, like in the 90s, for instance, like, I remember as a fan, and I'll never forget this, and I'm sure you remember this too, Aramis, and some of you guys too, some of your older heads out there, when we kept going to the Super Bowls, I'll never forget, people were so pissed outside of Buffalo, like other, like especially AFC, fucking Buffalo again, this 3rd straight season, fucking team, fucking bullshit, fucking hate this team. And then we went again, remember? And we were like, we didn't give a fuck. Remember the players like, yeah, okay, so if you don't like it, fucking beat us, right? We're gonna keep fucking going to Super Bowl, okay, until we fucking win. So my point is, look, man, there's a team that always is going to just be that good, and they're going to get there no matter what. And it was the Patriots. They ran it for a while, and now it's the Chiefs. And sometimes things just work that way, and teams are just that special. And right now, the Chiefs got it going on. I'm not going to lie. Like, they have the recipe for winning championships. We don't have that yet. Can we get that? Yes.
What if he said 1 and not 2? What if he said Sean Costa's 1 championship?
I don't think so, because you have to get to a Super. You have to listen. The 13 seconds here.
That's what I'm talking about. That one.
The 13-second. Okay, so let's say we go and win that game. There's no, but that's not a championship game. We weren't in the AFC Championship game. That was a divisional round. Who's to say we were to win the AFC Championship? Like, we don't know that, so I can't it's kind of unfair. Now, I could say, yeah, he cost us that game and a chance to go to the AFC Championship and possibly get to a Super Bowl. But if that was an AFC Championship game, yes, then you could say, man, he for sure cost him an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, because in the next, then obviously we're going to Super Bowl and there's the opportunity. But I don't know what we would have done against the Bengals. And didn't the Bengals that year, isn't the Bengals beat the Chiefs that game?
No.
Or am I wrong? I thought they did. Wasn't that, you sure?
Positive.
Or was it the next year? Because it was a close game. The Bengals winded up.
Yep, that was
the Bengals winded up doing what we didn't do at the very end. Remember, they played physical defense and put pressure on Mahomes.
Yeah,
and closed the show.
In 2022.
What year was that? I think it was the following year, right?
Yeah. Bengals made it to the Super Bowl in 22.
Okay, so it was the following. It was the following year then, when it was a similar situation, and the Bengals. The Chiefs had it with so much time remaining. The Bengals wound up closing the show and getting to the Super Bowl. We couldn't do that, but that was the difference. They were in an AFC Championship game. So I don't know. I think now that I'll say a little unfair for McDermott to say, and I think the AFC Championship game that we did go to in 2020, I just don't think Josh was ready. I think he was young. We were hot. That was a hot the team just remember that was when we first got Stephon Diggs. We went on a roll.
Yep.
I just think we went against a very experienced at that time Kansas City Chiefs team, and we just weren't prepared. I don't think we were just ready yet for the moment. Yeah. And I think that's why we got excited, going, okay, you know what, we fucking got there in 2020. And usually when you bounce back in 2021, you would think we're gonna be back, or we're gonna be in that predicament again and get to the next level. And it's never been. That's my problem. Because at first I was like, oh shit, okay, here we go. Now I could roll with this. And I was on board with McDermott. I was excited because I was like, man, you could see the growth. He's okay, we're getting there. And then it's been kind of not a decline, but it's been the same results year after year after year.
Right,
and we're just getting knocked out division on division on division. And we're not really, we haven't taken the next step. You know what I mean? When we talk about player development, right? And I always say okay, when we look at players like AJ Epinesa, for instance, I'll throw his name out there. I always said he never really took a step until last year. He took a big step. He earned his contract. And there's players like Gregory Rousseau. I feel like he's taken a step every year, but not a giant step. Yep. And that's how I kind of feel like McDermott was taking these little steps forward and becoming a better coach, but he's never taken this giant step forward where he's finally figured it out. And that's where I feel like McDermott's at. He's just kind of staying the course, but he hasn't really improved. And I thought this year he was showing signs of it. I'm not going to lie. The Chiefs game, the fourth down, I'm like, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to McDermott. You have to be somewhat, you have to take the next step as a head coach and go, you know what? I'm going to trust my players can get it done. Yeah. You know what I mean? And be a little bit more aggressive here and not coach to lose, but coach to win. And I always feel that's McDermott's style, coach not to lose. And he reverted back to that for some reason after that Chiefs game, coaching not to lose. And it's bro, come on, man. You got to coach to win. Eventually, that's why players respect Dan Campbell. And I'm not going to sit here and say Dan Campbell makes all the right decisions in the world, because some of his decisions for me is oh, what are you doing? Now you're being a little bit too much. You got a little you got to. Sometimes you do got to know how the game flow is going. But players probably love that about him, that he's just going, you know what? I fucking believe in you.
Yep.
And I'm going for this. We're doing this as a team, and I don't get that from McDermott a lot.
So I have two hot takes today, but the first one is I think Philly fans have a higher standard for winning than Bills fans, and I have proof. You ready? If you look at what Andy Reid did for the city of Philadelphia, he took that team to four straight NFC Championship games and one Super Bowl appearance. He wasn't fired until 4 years after that, in which he went 6-10, and then he had 2 500 seasons. He went 8-8. And then the next season after that, he went 4-12, and then he was fired. Okay. Now, when you look at those 2 500 seasons, those are not losing seasons technically, right? So it's not like you can say, well, this guy had 3 consecutive losing seasons. No, it is a step down from 4 straight NFC championship games. But when you look at what they had and what they faced in the division around them, Tony Romo and that team was coming up. They had who else? Eli Manning and the Giants won a couple of Super Bowls in that span.
Yep.
So it wasn't as though Philly wasn't playing in a tough division, right? Now, let's compare that to where Bills fans are. Our division has been nowhere near as hard as what they had to face. Okay.
Yeah.
Since Sean McDermott reached his pinnacle of the AFC Championship game, and I'm going to say Andy Reid's pinnacle at that time was a Super Bowl appearance. Sean McDermott's pinnacle in his career was an AFC Championship appearance. Since that appearance, he's had 4 straight early exits. I'll just say early because it didn't get nowhere near the AFC Championship game after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're looking at possibly a 4th. So are we gonna hold to what we've held on to as the standard here in Buffalo of okay, making an AFC Championship game is cool, but the 4 years after that we don't have the same success? Are we gonna do what the Philly fans did and say, okay, this is not enough, we need better? Because Philly has a Super Bowl in the last 5 years and we don't.
Right.
And their coach achieved much more than what our coach is achieving and is being given the same leash essentially to see if he can still do it. To me, 4 seasons after hitting your pinnacle and showing that you haven't figured anything out after that, you're not doing anything different, you're not contributing in different ways, you're not doing any different schemes or formations with your defense or anything like that. What you're supposed to be good at is no longer helping the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is our standard going to be? And to me, that just proves Philly fans' standard for winning is better than Buffalo's fans. And I'm saying that to inspire Bills fans to raise it, not to criticize you and put you down.
Yep. And to answer this, Red, White, and Bills, and I love you. You know what the difference is here? And I just said it, really. You've been listening, right? Because I know you've been watching us. If Sean McDermott went to a Super Bowl, and won one. Listen, even if he just went to one, I'm just going to even throw that out there. Even if he went to one, I would still go, you know what? Shit, man, I think it's possible. You got us there once. I would feel a little bit more but those guys, yeah, they may not have won or been to a Super Bowl in a while, but they have won. So as a fan, yeah, you may be going, damn, like, but at the back of your mind, you're going, well, they did win us a Super Bowl. Like, I'm just saying, like, you have to respect that. Like, so it's like I said, once again, if Sean McDermott at least got us there, I feel way more comfortable going, hey, I believe that he could do it again at some point. And I would be more willing to be more patient with Sean McDermott, knowing the fact that he got there. And listen, by the way, I want to thank all of you guys for watching the Sean McDermott podcast. This is the new Sean McDermott weekly podcast that we do. It's just an hour of talking Sean McDermott. No, I'm just joking.
Talking ish about Sean McDermott.
Welcome to the McDermott Power Hour here on Mafia Sports Board built in Buffalo. We're just talking Sean McDermott all day, 24 hours, and we're going to make this a 24/7 thing. Sean McDermott all day, every day, here live. In here.
You're too good at that, man. You're too good at that.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I would lose so many subscribers. All day, every day. 20, nothing but 24 hours of Sean McDermott talk all day. 3 a.m. You want to hear about Sean McDermott and why he can't get to the Super Bowl? You got it live here on Mafia Sports Report.
Oh my God! You know what's a cool idea? Maybe we should have a hotline that they can call and just vent after every loss. You know what I mean?
That's a fucking great idea. You know what? That's a fucking brilliant idea. Yeah. I'm gonna set up a Google voice number for you guys. I want you guys. Listen, I'm serious. I'm gonna put it on my YouTube channel for anyone to call and leave voicemails, and I'll play them.
Yes, oh my God, perfect.
And I will play them on my YouTube channel. So anyone that wants a vent, I'm gonna set it up this week, and you guys could call anytime you want, and I'll check the voicemail. And I will, if they're good, I'll play them. I don't get. Hey, this is Roy Collins. Fucking McDermott piece of shit. Whatever you want to say, just try to keep it a little F-bomb. Try not to do too many F-bombs, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely do that. I'm gonna set that up for you guys. So that's a great idea. So call it crash and burn. Whatever. Yeah. I'm just gonna call it. The Bills hotline. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out the name of it.
Please swear.
Yeah. I don't mind you. Yeah. Of course you can. Absolutely. Just don't go ham. Like fuck. It's been a fucking team. You know what I mean? Like try to put some. Try to put something, like make a point with just not just F-bombs, but I don't mind, whatever. Ariel, just wondering, guys, what are your thoughts on Sean McDermott? And please elaborate. Sure.
Did we talk about Sean at all today?
No, I don't think we did.
Yeah.
All right. So what I feel about Sean McDermott. All right. Now we're moving on from this fucking talk. I'm fucking Louise. All right, let's get to the game. What time is it? 12:30. Boy, oh boy. All right, let's get to the big three. All right, let's get to the causes for concern. All right, we got some causes for concern here. All right, let's get to the causes for concern. Once again, shout out to Bills Wire. All right, first one, Jets skills player. Do they have skill players? I think they do still have some. The Jets have one of the better wide receiver duos in the NFL. Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson are troubling to keep track of, even with the high-level corners like Christian Benford, Rasul Douglas, and Teron Johnson. Parlay that with running back Breece Hall, who could do a little bit of everything out of the backfield. And you have players all over the field that you need to pay close attention to. This offense has a high ceiling, even if it hasn't played up to it for much of the season. Now, does anyone know who their inactives are? The Jets. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, because I know some guys were. Let's see here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Jets inactives. If anyone can pull it up before me, please let me know, because I do not see it here. Can you find that? Can anybody find that for me? Because I'm curious. Because I know Adams was questionable.
All right, here we go.
You got it? Okay.
Yep. The cornerback, Jarek Bernard Converse, edge rusher, Braden McGregor, kicker, Anders Carlson, safety, Jalen Simpson, corner, Kendall Sheffield, and corner, Quantez Stickers.
All right. So pretty much everyone's playing, because there was a lot of people that are questionable. So guess what? Sauce is playing. Everybody's playing. So, they're trying to play spoiler today. That tells me everything I need to know right there. Yep. For all the questionable guys, who cares? Listen, here's the deal with their offense. I'm not going to lie. I am a little surprised on how the Jets season went. I'm not going to lie there. I still thought the Bills would win the division, but I did think the Jets would finish second and probably make the playoffs with about 10 wins. Because I was going on the fact that their defense was borderline elite the past, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I also felt like, Aaron Rodgers come back healthy, even though I still am not a huge fan, that if he was healthy through the year, they have enough weapons. This is before Davante Adams. Yeah. Breece Hall coming back, Garrett Wilson, going to another year. Like, I really felt like they could maybe make some noise and definitely get the playoffs. But holy shit, I was wrong. They fired their head coach early in the season. Their defense has been pretty bad. Aaron Rodgers is a shell of himself. There's problems all over the, like with players and coaches. Like, I mean, it's gone from like bad to worse in over there in New Jersey. So listen, man, they're a broken team. Like, I don't care what they got out there. There's no way in fuck we lose this game unless we just come unprepared like we did last week and we just are out there just to get it over with and get home. Like, then yes, we could lose this game. If we play like we did last week, we're just like, let's just get it over with. Let's just throw whatever out there, vanilla type offense, and let's not show our cards. Like, it could turn bad, and that would be bad. Like, then you definitely have to play your starters next weekend. It's just not a recipe. It's not a good recipe. So I don't care what they got out there. We're a better team. We're at home. There's no excuse to lose to that team. Next up, Rodgers can still beat you. Can he? Really? Stop. I'm gonna fucking skip that because that's ridiculous. No, he can't. Divisional game. It's a dangerous game when you have your eyes set on the playoffs and there's a hungry divisional opponent still on your regular season schedule. The Bills need to win to clinch the 2 seed in the AFC. And they have now been humbled a bit by last week's close win over the Patriots 24-21. It was a close game in week 6. That is true when the Bills visited the Jets. It squeaked by 23-20. Divisional games always present unique challenges. The coaching staff will have to adjust on the fly without getting too deep into the playbook on Sunday. That's the end of that article. I get it. Like, I do understand that. I'm with that. Like, divisional games are, they're tough. I get that. You see each other twice a year. I totally understand that. However, we just saw New England for the first time last week, and it shouldn't have been close, right? Like, I get it if we played them once already, and they're like, okay, they already saw us this year. Like, next game's going to be close because, we already played. They know we're, they didn't see us at all. Right. And we fucking look like shit. Yeah. So we already saw the Jets once, and it was a close game. Yep. Shouldn't even been close then.
And we were trying at that point. We're going to now.
Don't give me no fucking vanilla playbook then.
Right.
So I once again, man, look, the Jets offense overall, 23rd, rush, they're 31st, which is that's a crazy number to me. Pass 17th, scoring 24th. Come on, guys. Really? You're scared of Aaron Rodgers? Look at fucking numbers there. Terrible. Jets defense overall 4th, bad against the rush, 16th, pretty good against the pass, 5th, scoring 16th. Bills offense overall, we're 7th. We're good. 9th in rush, 9th in passing. We're in the number 2 scoring team in the NFL. Good. Bills defense overall 23rd, 14th against the rush, 25th against the pass, scoring 11th. Defensive-minded head coach, the guys you continue to stick up for, but whatever. That's shit, guys. That's not good. And don't, like, you know what it is too? What it kills me is like the injury excuse and this and that. Like, stop, guys. These are guys that he wanted here. These are guys that he brought in. This is a team that he built. Like, these are his guys. So,
and then why did they get injured too? Because if you look at Matt Milano, he's again, Terrell Bernard's had the same kind of issues through his carear. A safety playing linebacker. That's how these guys end up getting hurt.
Exactly. I totally agree too. Totally agree. And they're trying to make Sign a linebacker, Lewis Sign, whatever. But we'll see how that works out. 3 keys to a Bills victory. All right. Get it going on the ground. I agree with that. 9 carries last week was ridiculous. Bills running back James Cook had an efficient day on the ground against the Patriots in week 16. Carried 11 times. I thought he only carried it 9. I think they're wrong on that. And recorded 100 rushing yards, 9.1 average, including a 46-yard run for a touchdown. In week 17, Buffalo faced a team that ranks 23rd against the run. Last week, to a loss to the Rams, the Jets allowed running back Kyrie Williams to rush for 122 and a touchdown, 5.3 yards per carry. So, yes, you want to run the ball, and it's raining today. So, by the way, ball security, please, James Cook. I know he's pretty good at it, but just want to throw that out there for everybody. More production from pass catchers, absolutely. No player on the Bills roster had more than 26 receiving yards. That was disgusting. And last week's win over the Patriots, Cook led the team. Imagine, he led the team with 26. Matt Collins, 25. Shakir had 22 and Knox 22. Got to be better than that. An impact from the defensive line. Yes, I agree. The Jets, even at 4-11, are still capable of offense when they get into a rhythm. Led by Aaron Rodgers under center, they have playmakers who can rip you apart like Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, and Breece Hall. If Rodgers has the time to sit back there and go through his progressions, life will be difficult for the Bills on Sunday, especially given their injuries on at the back end. So I agree. Like obviously, like I think any quarterback, if you let sit back in the pocket, can do some damage for the most part. You have to get after Aaron Rodgers. The defensive line has to win up front. And that begins with Ed Oliver, who was a no-show last week. Daquan Jones, who's been a shell of himself this year. Like, these guys have to push the pocket. Dude, I was watching, what game was it that I was watching the other day? And I'm like, bro, that's how you get it done. What fucking team was it? They were, like, just collapsing the pocket. I'm like, bro, like, that is how you get it done. I don't remember the team. Was it
Chargers Patriots?
Might have been. I don't remember. I wish I remember, but I'm like, bro, they were just collapsing in the middle, and there was just nothing the guy could do. I wish I could remember the game, but it's like I wish that we can be more consistent with rushing the 4. We're just not. That's the problem. Like, and that's what McDermott loves, to rush the 4. But the problem is when those guys aren't on or getting beat or losing in the trenches, whatever you want to call it, it makes it a long day because the quarterback then has time. And then you give a quarterback time, receivers are going to get open. I don't care how good your corners are. They're eventually going to get open. And I need to see a better push from our defensive line today for sure. And man, I really think the Bills too, after this season, need to get somebody next to Ed Oliver, a big body next to Ed Oliver that can actually push the pocket. And just kind of be a like a stuffer, basically. And let Ed Oliver really flourish. I'm telling you guys, like, I like Ed Oliver. I really think Ed Oliver can be good, but he has to have that guy next to him. I'll be honest with you, like I feel like Deion Dawkins, though sometimes he just doesn't show up, which is weird. I really do believe he's a good player. He's really, really good tackle. But if he has a guy next to him that's more consistent, he really flourishes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he's even said that, and it's true. It really is. The guy next to you is super important. And I just feel like Daquan Jones right now is just, is just a shell of himself. He's okay. You know what I mean? I don't think he's terrible or anything like that. He's gonna, we'll be fine. But man, and I'll be honest too, they need to use more Jordan Phillips. And I'm not saying Phillips is oh my God, Phillips is so great, but I feel like Phillips brings a little bit more energy, brings a little bit more pass rush ability.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean? And we need that out there. So curious what they do moving forward with him, especially in the playoffs. Sandra, I think it's the person next to Oliver. I truly believe that. Dawkins is a unit. No, I never said. Listen, I like Dawkins. I think Deion Dawkins by far. I won't say that by far because I think Spencer Brown's really starting to catch up, and I think Osiris Torrance is catching up too. As far as like, if you want to talk about who our best offensive line is, I'll still say Dawkins for the moment. But I think Spencer Brown and Osiris Torrance are gaining traction as far as. And that's good. It's a great thing. Like, that's a great thing to hear when you can sit back and go, we got 3 really good to great offensive line players. But then remember, guys, it's a chain. It's like a link, right? If you got some broken pieces there, then it's not going to really be great, right? So I would say the verdict's still out on Edwards, and I'm not really a big fan of him, but I think he's doing okay. And I'll give McGovern credit. I think McGovern has played better than I thought he would at center. I don't know if he's our future at center. I'll be honest with you. I think I would like to see what the rookie that we signed. I think he could be our future.
Yes.
Because every time I've seen him when preseason or any opportunity he's gotten, he looks good. And he was really good in college for Georgia. So I think, in all honesty, he would be the future of the Bills center. I just think right now what they're doing is probably smart by letting him sit back, learn, get more reps in, get more time with Cromer. And then I think you will eventually see that change. And then we're really building. And all you need now is a left guard. That's it. Then you get rid of Edwards, you find someone in free agency or the draft,
Yep.
Now we're talking. And then you can even keep Edwards. Fuck it. Keep him in his rotation. Keep him in depth. I mean, like, now we're talking, guys. You see, that's how you properly build the offensive line. Like, the offensive line is starting to come around, right? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Now, if the defensive line can do the same, might be in good shape.
Right.
That's the next step for this defense. You have to fix that line. Then you can, once you start putting pressure on the quarterback, getting sacks, then your defense really will start like benefiting. Until then, if you're just rushing 4 and you have a so-so defensive line, it's going to be tough. This is the results you'll see. And an undersized team, undersized defense that is. So we'll find out. So anyways, let's get to this game. It's 12:40. We got 20 minutes before game time. So King Aramis, it's time for your for your hot takes. Go ahead.
All right. Those of you that have seen me on my show, you know I've said this very recently, and I stand by this now more than ever. You mentioned earlier, Tommy, the Greg Rousseaus of the world, and their draft position and their performance not matching their draft position, and the small incremental growths, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the Bills should really heavily consider trading Greg Rousseau instead of re-signing.
Ooh, and I love Groot.
Right. I think everybody loves Groot, right? You think of him as 6'6", big, physical, can pass rush, he's great against the run. He gets a lot of pressures. But we've seen now, Mahomes was, I forgot the stat, but Mahomes faced a ton of pressure in the last game that he played against who did they play on Christmas Day? I think it was the most pressures he had faced, and they still put up 26 points on the team, or they put up 29 points on him and blew him out, right? And so that concept right there, or that snapshot of what pressure does to good quarterbacks, to me, it shows that pressure really means nothing when it comes to good quarterback play, right? So if we're talking about measurable statistics and plays that impact the game, a sack is more impactful than a pressure will ever be, because not only does it end the play, but it sets you back in yardage, and it extends the amount of yards that you have to get just to make a first down. So when we're talking about what Greg Rousseau actually contributes to the team, somebody actually messaged me saying, well, what he does makes the other players better. Okay, if that's the case, why doesn't anybody else have anywhere near the amount of sacks that Greg Rousseau has right now? If what he was doing made everybody else better, his sack should be lower, and everybody else on the defensive line sack should be higher. Ed Oliver is doing nothing. How is Greg?
But let me ask you real quick. Sorry to cut you off. But I know you're saying trading Groot, but remember we talked earlier about scheme and players that leave and flourish in other defensive systems.
Yep.
My fear is this, and I really truly believe Groot is not being used to his full potential here. He leaves and really flourishes in another defensive system. We're going to sit back and go, damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the problem.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, because you could bring it. So let's just say hypothetically, you trade Rousseau and you bring in a guy that's you think's like an, you know what I mean?
I'm saying Chase Young.
Yeah, but let's say you bring in a guy that's a heavy, like a lot of career sacks, and then all of a sudden he goes into McDermott's scheme and those numbers dwindle because it's a different scheme. He asked to do different things. I'm just saying it can happen because we look at players like I said, I'll give you a prime example. Who was the guy that we had here forever? And I can't believe I'm going to brain fart. He went to Houston.
Mario Williams?
Not Mario Williams. No.
The college Houston.
No, the guy we got from the Colts. He was here forever. He was Jerry Hughes. So remember, Hughes left, went to Houston, and actually sacks went up.
Right.
So my point is, like, I just feel like it's almost a McDermott scheme, and some of these like guys don't get the flourish, or they don't use them the right way. I mean, look what Dallas did with Parsons. They got him lined up all over the field. Why couldn't you mix around where you put Gregory Rousseau at times? Like, have him in different spots. Like get more creative with a guy that's that athletic.
Well, because
Instead
Sean
of just
McDermott's
going,
not going to do that. Sean
that's my point. So why bring it? What makes it? But what do you think another guy would come in here and do if
20 plus $1 million is really the conversation we should be having, because
you're talking about the money side of things? I got you. Okay.
It's not just performance related. Is that performance going to match up with 20 plus $1 million? We're talking about at least $23 million for Greg Rousseau right now as far as market value. I think it's actually closer to 24 million. So do we want to pay 24 million for a guy that we like and that we think could do better on another team, or do we want to get somebody in here that we know is going to be used in a similar way, like AJ Epinesa, like Chase Young, if we wanted to bring him in? Both those guys play similar styles. They're not elite pass rushers in a sense, but they're good defensive ends against the run, and they can bull rush, they can get pressure. That's fine. But that's only fine if you're paying AJ Epinesa what you're paying AJ Epinesa, 2 years, $14 million.
Yeah, that's true.
Not okay if you're paying a guy 5 years, $140 million or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it's a good point. I agree. I'm with you there. I think that's a valid point. I also think Javon Solomon is
he's going to be
I
good.
think that guy, if given the opportunity, and maybe that they're doing the same with him like they're doing with the Van Gran, is they are just waiting and trying to develop him more.
Yeah.
But every time I've seen him on the field, though, he gets home for the most part. He does his job. I think they're just trying to get him better at run defense. But if you want a guy getting after the quarterback, I think he could be that dude. But you're right. Like, somebody brought up a good point about Leonard Floyd coming here and doing better than Rousseau in 1 year. Right. I get that. I'm with you there. But you also, it's more with Rousseau, I look at more just about the sacks. Like, he's really good at run defense. Yeah. He does put a lot of he gets a lot of pressure rate, which matters. And I always said that does matter. Pressure rate does matter because quarterbacks make mistakes off those. Or they throw the ball away, which is really good. Like, that's what you want. But I get it. You also want a guy getting home. You want sacks. You want, I'm with you there. So I'm torn when it comes to group because I see a lot of really good things with him. Like, physically, he's a freak. You know what I mean? Like, he's young. You know what I mean? He's injury free for the most part. Like, he stays pretty healthy. You know what I mean? It's not a guy like that's constantly hurt. You know what I mean? So, like, that you have to consider too, because we have guys that just can't stay healthy, and he's a guy that pretty much is on the field every week. You know what I mean? So I take a lot of that into consideration. But if we, listen, I don't think Vaughn will be here next year. And I think if you pay Group, and I'm not saying I would pay him, but I wouldn't overpay him. You know what I mean? I would let him test the market if I'm being, and kind of just feel it out and be like, hey, here's what I feel you're worth. And I think Bean will probably do that. That's what he's done relatively well here. But I think you need to get another edge. You have to. Yeah. And I think Solomon could be the guy, but I don't know if he's a guy right away. So maybe you go and find a guy for a year or two. Maybe you trade a guy. I don't know, but they got to improve the line for sure.
I wanted to offer this because this guy is he unless New Orleans picks up his void years for the next couple of years, he's going to be a free agent next year. A guy like Chase Young, who had a much higher pedigree than what Greg Rousseau had, he's got more combined tackles. He's got a total of 22 career sacks versus Greg Rousseau's 24 and a half to date, right? Forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. He's got more than Greg Rousseau. So, this, and I just mentioned this guy as an example of someone who could come in and play a similar role and have similar production for all those people that are going to say, okay, well then if you drop Greg Rousseau, who are you going to get that can fill in that spot? This is a viable option that could become, coming available in the offseason. So it's not that I'm trying to create problems just for the sake of creating problems. I'm simply saying if Sean McDermott is going to employ the defensive line in this way and he's not going to change his habits, then we should expect to see exactly what we've been seeing from Greg Rousseau, which is the same consistency in the stats that he's had over his career. Why not get somebody else in here who can do same or similar job for less money? That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. We'll see. But if you could get Chase Young too at a decent deal and keep Rousseau, kind of make it all work.
Nice
Then it would be, you know what I mean? Like, so we'll see when that time comes. But I'm with you. I don't know. I'd be on the fence with getting rid of, trading him, but we'll see. I just know one thing, man. You have to draft a defensive tackle in this year's coming up draft. You have to get bigger. You have to get a physical, you have to. Look at Tennessee and what they did over there. I mean, my God, like that guy's a freaking house, man. And he is just a beast, man. Like that. Can you imagine that guy there next to Ed? Then you got Ed Cook, and then you got this guy just clogging up the lane. Like, dude, our defensive line would be sick, bro. But that's not what we do. You know what I mean? So maybe we change our philosophy in the offseason. Maybe we start understanding that. Look at the offensive line. It took a while for them to really go, oh, shit, I think we need an offensive line.
Maybe.
I think we need to protect Josh Allen.
See,
shit.
Real quick about I forgot who made the point about this earlier in the chat, but they were saying they mentioned Connor McGovern is only 26 and he's got a high.
Oh yeah, earlier it was Lick or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Leak. Yeah. So
Lick.
I get the point.
I don't fucking name.
Semantics, that's fine.
Yeah, Lick or Leak. Jeez.
So I think when it comes to our offensive linemen, it's almost like we have to focus more on the eye test and how they do against elite competition than we can the stats, because Josh Allen ruins the stats for the offensive line. He boosts their stats by
absolutely.
You know what
absolutely,
I'm saying?
Yep. Yes,
that's
there's
why
no doubt.
So good. It's because of Josh. So
I would say he helps. Yeah, no doubt. But they have gotten better.
No, you're right. You're right.
Like if you look at where I really look at is the run blocking.
Yes.
Like the run blocking. By the way, I'm shocked nobody's messing with me today on the James Cook thing. I look back at Singletary's numbers because everyone's like, "Oh, James Cook, top 5, top 10. He's good, real great running back." Bro, if you go back, and I get it, like some of you guys just hated Singletary, whatever. But if you go back to Devin Singletary and that offensive line, which not good at all. I mean, not good. Nowhere near what we have for James Cook. Look at the attempts and look at the yards. Very similar to James Cook. Are you calling Devin Singletary with not a very good line who has very similar numbers to James Cook, a top 10 running back?
Of course not. Bring that up to Keyshawn. Oh my God!
It's true. I mean, go look at the stat. I'm telling you guys. Devin Singletary's rookie year, he averaged 5.5 yards per carry, 800 yards or something like that. He rushed for 850 twice or 875, something like that, with very minimal carries with a very bad offensive line. Matter of fact, James Cook was behind him on that very bad offensive line, James Cook rookie year. James Cook has not, listen, I'll be honest, James Cook is a better running back than Devin Singletary. Yes, he is, but not by much.
Right. I
think Devin Singletary is better at pass protection. I think Devin Singletary is better between the tackles. He falls forward like better. Like he could take. I think his contact balance is better. But James Cook is faster.
Yeah.
He has more breakaway speed. He's gotten better at contact balance this year. I'll give him that. He's better at receiving. He's a better receiving running back. I'll give him that. So yeah, he's better, but it's not fucking leaps and bounds better. Look at the stats. The stats don't lie, and that's behind an offensive line that was not good. You cannot argue that James Cook is this great running back. Then I would say Devin Singletary was fucking phenomenal because he had a very bad offensive line too. So I'm just saying, I like James Cook. He's a good running back, but I hate to break the news to you. He won't be here after his rookie contract's done.
I'm okay with it.
The chances are slim.
I need to give
Yeah,
Beth a job. She's keeping us on point time wise.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh, we're out of here. Is it really? Holy shit. We gotta go.
2017 Bills. Here we go.
All right. What's your prediction? Hurry up. Aramis, go.
2017 Bills. 2017
Holy crap. 3017 Bills.
20,
Guys.
20.
No, 30.
You're
I'm going 3017.
Wow,
I'm saying today's the day we put up 3017. You guys, man, hey, Bills Mafia, you guys rule. We're going to be here post-game. Let's hope it's a better post-game show. But anyways, guys, we love you. And as always, go Bills. We're out of here. Peace. Aramis?
Go Bills.
There it is. Later.
Ah.